Before we start, there's something I want to bring up before I get any comments about this. Yes, this was made back in the beginning of August, and now it's the end of October. But no one else has made a video commentating on this as of yet, and I do want to bring up some things about what the subject of this video talks about. So keeping that in mind, let's start the video. Golden Dot Athlete, everyone. This is MrSirRaven here with another commentary. Oh my god, MrSirRaven! It's been like 5 months since you've done a video. Yes, I know, I have a life beyond this cesspool that we all call the commentary community. But it's October, the month of Scorpio, the month of Pluto, and thus a symbol of renewal and returns, which is why I'm back. Also because Björk did that one song called Pluto. So today's commentary is going to be focusing on the user TheBlackSerpentBeta with a lovely two-parter about racism that adds up to 27 minutes of fun for the whole family. Help me. Help me. Now I would play the intro here before starting, but instead I'm going to start by dissecting it. I don't think I've ever said this about an intro before in any of my commentaries, but this is a pretty cringe-worthy intro for a few reasons. One, warning, intense madness approaching. Honestly, no one is going to listen to you with any merit with something like that. Second, Kuro Serpentina, artisan of madness. If there's one thing that kills a commentary, it's pretentiousness. And if Artisan of Madness is not one of the most vain titles you've ever heard a commentator address themselves as, then I don't know what would be. Plus, it's not the only title he apparently has bestowed upon himself. Check out his channel description. Boy, are you for real? Third, this. There's so many neckbeard jokes I could make, but we simply don't have time.
Hello and welcome. My name is MrSirRaven, and it's good to be back. Another commentary again. And wondering why I'm doing this? Because my bro Dante gave me a new intro. Anyway, yeah, the person I'm doing this video on has already been done by Sargon of Akkad. In fact, it was Sargon of Akkad that made me kind of want to actually do this.
Wow, I do not have time to sit through this mumblefest. I get that your mic quality is bad because it's being temperamental, great grammar there by the way, but there's a difference between the audio being bad because your mic is acting up versus the audio being bad because you're too fucking quiet. Finer tip about commentating, no one should have to boost their computer volume and the video volume up to max in order to hear you clearly. I know you guys can hear it a little bit better, but that's because I had to edit his actual voice quality. If you watch the actual video, which I will link to, it's extremely quiet. It also doesn't help that you slur so much when you're talking and have all these hiccups in your flow. There's this thing called a second take, you know. Oh, and also scripting. Now, before we get into who he's commentating on, let me play something he says.
For Sargon's video, and just be like, this nigga's stupid.
Oh boy, this is gonna be a fun commentary. Oui.
Ta bouche, Robetta, écoute la nature est là, ne vous étonnez pas, ça pue le coup d'état.
Aquabia!
Salutations.
Hey, I'm back, ready to attack, I'm back, ready to attack.
And I'm here to rip you a new asshole. Something I have a terrible feeling you will enjoy.
Ha ha ha! It's funny because he sounds gay. What I say is funny and doesn't sound creepy because I'm speaking like a stalker.
My ex is now dating a big ass, old ass, ugly ass, cave beast, Urugu, Neanderthal Tom, toilet complexion individual.
Well now, that's the longest and most unnecessarily complicated way of saying she's dating a white guy. Yeah, you can see why I'm doing this on this motherfucker. This nigga's stupid.
So, in a rant about racism, let's just throw in a racist epithet. Because, you know, that helps. Also, along with him being really soft, he's also really slow, which is why this commentary has been dragged out to a point where it didn't even need to be this long.
So if y'all thought that I hated white people before, word.
First, what the fuck was that laugh? No, seriously.
It was an over-exaggerated laugh done for comedic purpose. There, we're done. Skip the rest of this long-ass point, please.
Moi humain papou, Primaire et pas vous, si évoluer c'est ça, moi j'évolue pas pour un sou.
Also, I moved from Los Angeles, California to Tampa, Florida.
Nobody cares, you stupid cunt. Shut your fucking mouth. Oh my god, shut up, shut up.
No,
A million
no,
times
stop
shut
the
up.
stupid
I'm
fucking
going to
clip.
kill-
So if nobody cares, then pray tell, why, Black Serpent Beta, did you play this god-awful long clip and then go on to show the irrelevant part of the video? Man, there's this thing called skipping. Watch how easy it is.
Mes petits modernisés, pourquoi tu me parles mal? Je respecte les pygmées, donc respecte les massages.
All white people are racist.
And so are you. Everyone's racist. Everyone's a little bit racist.
Humor is dead and we all die with it.
Yeah, I'm gonna lower down the science here. Basically, there's a bit in the brain which creates it. It's in everyone. Everyone. And to put it simply, originally it was designed to detect friend from foe. So it's something that kept early humans alive. It's like, oh shit, that fucking thing's gonna try and kill me. Let's get the fuck out of here. But it's a little bit, how to put it, too sensitive. It's designed to see the self as in the person that they identify, the person that they themselves are, as the norm, and everything else as a different.
Citation fucking needed! Aside from that being the clunkiest explanation I have heard this year, I honestly doubt this is something that is backed up. I couldn't find anything of the sort on this, and if someone does find something, please link it to me. Regardless, I found this to be factually wrong. In fact, I found studies that state the opposite, that racism is not a naturally occurring construct, but rather a social one. And unlike Mr. Level 3 Atheist over here, I'll actually link my sources.
Moi parler de glacier, si couler, moi fâché. Je saurai où te chercher quand comme moi tu seras perché.
But Gazi, don't make such general statements. It's wrong. Don't make general statements, Gazi. Okay, so all general statements are not incorrect, right?
Not all of them, no. Just most of them.
All rocks are hard, all water is wet.
Okay, this is something I want to argue on, because Dazzy, I think that's his name, I don't know, Black Serpent Beta didn't link the fucking video that he's commentating on, is just as wrong as Black Serpent Beta. Let me show you how to properly attack someone like this. First off, both of these general statements are bad. Let's talk about the first one. All rocks are hard. Well, hard is subjective. What do we mean by hard? Because a rock mainly composed of talc isn't hard at all. You can break it pretty easily with just your fingers. Salt rocks are also pretty brittle too. Second, even if we were to concede to some general thing that both of these things are true, humans aren't like rocks or water. Rocks and water do not have a conscience. They don't think. They are just there. They are inanimate. Humans are animate. Humans are a product of the society and their surroundings, and racism is something that is embedded into particular societies and not the nature of some ethnicity. Third, the phrase white people is extremely vague because it's implying that all white people in the world are socially the same here, which is not the case. View the culture of people living in Bilbao, Spain, and compared to the people living in Łódź, Poland. Both people that I'm pretty sure that Dazzy and as well everyone else here would consider to be white. There's great social difference there. Also, how people regard race and what group they belong to differs greatly than how it is here in America. Why do you think in Europe there's such a marked difference between Northern Europeans like Dutch, Germans, and French, with Southern Europeans like the Greeks, Italians, and Iberians, versus Eastern Europeans like Ukrainians, Lithuanians, and the Polish? This is why Dazzy's generalization is flawed, because he fails to understand exactly what he's defining and has a very American-centric point of view when he's defining a global group.
And a lot of you understand, right, through systems of oppression, that all black people are oppressed.
Oh, that's a fallacy if ever I've heard one. And then just going by you, I have a feeling that you like fallacies. And yes, that was a dick joke. Get off my back.
There was a dick joke in there somewhere? I couldn't tell, because your speech is like the quality of a low-res JPEG image.
Right? And you understand that all white people have white privilege.
I keep hearing that phrase, but I've never heard any real, examples. I've never really heard them talk about any attributes that this white privilege comes with.
Despite the fact that I feel that white privilege is a fairly hinky term because it's way too vague and ignores a lot of other factors, it does indeed exist, at least here in America. A good example of this is racial profiling. White people, quote unquote, have a privilege of not being subjected to being under the radar of when questioned by authority figures.
Well, I'm white, my life's been hell, and I'm also autistic, so yeah. People like picking on people. People just like being badasses to people who are different. That's just how the world works. Deal with it, nigga.
Hold on. Let me say that phrase again for you people. That's just how the world works. Deal with it, nigga. You know, Black Serpent, it's not really funny when you keep saying nigga. It's just really cringeworthy. It also makes you look incredibly stupid. It really doesn't help your point when you're basically excusing racism because that's just how the world works. Just because that's how the world is doesn't mean it's right. And that's a really dumb point to make.
You get that, right? Those are general statements that are true, so all general statements are not false.
And then, that's a fallacy. The same fallacy you keep using. Yes, not all general statements are false. That doesn't mean any general statements are false. You just gave 2 examples of false ones, sir. You just kind of shut yourself in the foot, good sir.
Well, that's it. You're grounded from fallacies. You obviously don't know how they work. Go to your room. No dessert.
So you understand that all white people get white privileges and all black people are oppressed.
Oh my God. This is why you're stupid.
But you don't understand that those 2 realities have mental repercussions. How do you get that, girl? How don't you get that, girl? Why don't you connect the dots? Connect the dots. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It makes a horse. Remember those little drawings we used to?
You're an idiot and a scammer.
Make with the dots. Amazing. I miss being a child. That all black people suffer from post-traumatic slave syndrome.
What you talking about? What you talking about? What you talking about? What you talking about, Willis?
You know, are you just trying to be the most cringiest commentator out there? Because just randomly throwing in media clips in the video is really helping you win that shit trophy.
Or post-traumatic colonial syndrome, right? Which equals a lot of self-hate and anti-blackness within us and also makes us glorify and love whiteness, right? That we want to be more and more white. We want to be the exceptional Negro. We want to have the things that they have, right?
And yet I've never ever seen a black person attempt to become white. I might be wrong. It may happen. I don't know. Anyone want to correct me in the comments? Feel free. Give me examples. But I've heard of a lot more examples of white people attempting to become black. They're called tanning salons.
It has nothing to do with that. Tanning has more to do with the fact that Coco Chanel got sunburned than it does with wanting to be black.
Je te l'explique encore, moi devoir définir, toi pas comprendre, pas parler ou plutôt réfléchir.
As black people, we really need to understand the realities of the world, not as which we would like them to be, or we try to imagine them to be, but what it actually is.
In that case, every black person watching your video should instantly stop listening to you. Because you don't know what reality is, nigga. You know shit. No fuck all. The initial part of you and the way you act, it's obvious and blatant that you're a fucking madman.
Hey, Black Serpent, I got a secret. Closer. 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 So the fuck are you?
Imbécile tel, même si tel, trop risqué d'être écouté, même à telle ou telle heure.
Okay, this is actually simple pathology, y'all. Y'all need to crack open a book. Didn't I tell you to read Post-Traumatic Slave Syndrome? Didn't I tell you to read that book? Didn't I tell you to read Urugu? Didn't I tell you to read that book? Get that girl. Get that book, girl. Get that book, girl. Okay, so...
Baby, you're crazy. Baby, you're crazy. Definitely.
Maybe you're tone down. Maybe you're tone down. So don't ruin songs by Miles Barkley. Oh hey, look, I'm gonna skip the end of this first video so we can move on to the second part. Yay! Fucking A.
This is just me telling you exactly what is going on, okay? Scientists have actually already proven this. I will post the link below. In that link, you will find a study.
Okay, I decided to be like, hey, here's the actual thing he's talking about. So, here it is. I'm showing it to you. This is the actual study he's mentioning. Alright, let's have a look at it. The human brain fires differently when dealing with people outside of one's own race, according to a new study. Mirror neural systems.
Okay, this is the laziest thing I've seen. You figure that he would have, I don't know, read it ahead of time instead of fucking skimming the article during the damn commentary?
Basically, this is the exact thing I was talking about earlier. This is the part of the brain which originally recognizes friend from foe. The reason that its reaction to people of other races is because that part of the brain sees them as other, because, well, they look different, don't they? I'm not gonna lie. People with different races look different. It's why people notice the race in the first place, because of visual differences.
This is the thing that both of you are completely fucking forgetting. I have one problem with the study, and that is, where was the study done? Where were these people from? Were they from different social backgrounds, or were they from the same background? We're also not given a number of how many people participated. There could have been 100 people. There could have been 4. Neither of you bothered to question that at all, and that's sad. If you're going to have a study like this, I would like to see some actual real data. There's a lot of things that are way too vague for me to take this study extremely seriously. Is there some merit to it? Yes. But considering the fact that they study only one variable group, the study's kind of hinky.
Doesn't mean they're not human. Still treat them the same. But here's the thing. You can tell that there's actually a bias in this study because there's participants all white. Here's the thing, if they'd actually done that study with other people, people of all races, then they would have found that the exact same thing happened in all of them. It's just a natural part of the psyche.
I'll give Black Serpent credit that yes, there should have been non-white participants to see if this was something that was viewed across all races. But something I want to point out is that the very fucking bottom, that cognitive perspective taking exercises, for example, can increase empathy and understanding, thereby offering hope to reduce prejudice. That would support more of my claim that racism is a societal trait and something that you are taught and not inherently learned through your ethnicity. If cognitive exercises like that can be a solution to lower prejudices.
Tête droite ou tête gauche, t'es beauf ou bobo de Paris, soit t'es l'un ou soit t'es l'autre, t'es un homme ou bien tu péris.
Guess what they found out about white people? Nothing. None of those connected things happened.
Okay, so where's your evidence for this? The study you linked was nothing to do with that. The study was just like, hey, look, people, it was brains react differently to people of different races.
You know, if you actually read that article, you'd make the correlation he's putting together. Their motor cortex was significantly less likely to fire when they viewed minorities performing this act. And this motor neuron system, which the cortex is a part of, is an important building block for empathy. Granted, he's still wrong, mainly because the study is vague and one-sided, and also that there was low firing and not zero firing. But you really need to learn how to fucking read and listen, man.
Mécréant ou terroriste, t'es veuche ou bien t'es barbu, conspirationniste, illuminati, mythomaniste ou vendu.
Now, since the study has just been done, we don't know if white people never had this connection in their brain.
What study? What the fuck are you talking about? The link you gave has absolutely fucking nothing to do with what you're talking about.
You made your point, I already said that you're wrong. Skip, please.
Rien du tout, ou tout de suite, du tout au tout indécis. Hein, tu changes d'avis imbécile, mais t'es où tout de suite.
But Gazi, what about my white mom that adopted me? She's so nice. But Gazi, what about my white friends? They're so nice. Gazi, what about my white lover? I love my white lover so much. You're going to have to learn to hold them accountable. White people be saying some anti-black shiz.
And you're spouting some anti-white shiznit right now. And it's still racism. Racism is racism no matter who says it. I know it's not particularly politically correct to talk about this, but it's true. Racism is racism. If you're going to be racist to people, I'm going to call you out on it. And here's the thing, if they're not actively being racist You're not actively going, shut up, you fucking nigger. Then no, they're not being racist.
As much as I do agree here a bit, that is still a pretty shallow definition of what is racist and what isn't racist. And see, this is why I don't think you, or Dazzy for that matter, should be handling a topic such as this, because you both really don't understand the finer aspects at all about racism. This is something you have to study from both sides, something you have to really look into about. A shallow understanding that is based solely on your societal experience and that alone is not valid enough. Use it as anecdotal evidence, use that as a point, but not as a full argument, because that's utterly rubbish and it ignores all other factors out there.
Flamand, wallon, bras ballants, bras longs. Finalement, t'es raciste, mais t'es blanc, bien t'es marron, hein?
On every second of the second. If you're not catching it, that's because you're not looking for it. You're not aware enough. You're not conscious enough to it. So you need to become conscious enough to it. Then you need to hold these people accountable to their actions and their words and let them know that, yes, you are white. Therefore, you are anti-black. You are naturally racist. You are racist!
Yeah, let's just use the same media clip over again because it was funny the first time. Look at my sarcasm, for it is a plea for help.
Born into this society, you are born into this pathology, so you need to work against this consistently every day. Understand that you are a parasite invading as European on American soil that was created by the destruction of the Native American and enslavement of black people.
So now you're saying that you speak for all Native American people as well. Well, I doubt they'd agree with you there, because they were the ones who had their homes destroyed by people who were long dead. Here's the thing. I could sit here for literal days correcting you and point out how much fucking bullshit that is. Here's the thing. It doesn't matter. In the end of the day, all the people who involved with that stuff are dead. Let the dead rest.
Except that the mistreatment of Native Americans and First Nation people is still a thing. And also, what about all the modern racism he brought up in his argument? Dazzy's argument is still stupid and yes, racist, but address it properly. Holy crap.
And as for another matter, yes, they are parasites, but so are you, because you're human. Humanity is a parasite that feeds upon the earth. You're a parasite as well. If you're gonna call anyone a parasite, call everyone a parasite, you stupid fucking...
Okay, edgelord, we get it. Everyone's a parasite.
You always have to understand that. You always have to understand that this system only exists because of consistency of imperialism that destroys and oppresses peoples of color all over the world.
The empire is dead. As an Englishman, it does kind of hurt me somewhat, but yeah, the empire is fucking dead.
How can there be partly some empire when the empire is dead? Man, be fucking consistent!
It's been dead for ages upon ages. And I'd say at least 100 years it's been dead.
Looking at specifically the British Empire, that isn't true at all. Disregarding the obvious point of the British overseas territories being considered a remnant of imperialism in places like Montserrat, Akrotiri and Dhekelia, and Bermuda, there were a lot of places still under the control of Britain less than 100 years ago. In fact, the most recent independence was Brunei in 1984. That's only a little more than 30 years ago. Not that long ago, historically wise. What could arguably be considered to be the end of the British Empire was when they handed Hong Kong over to China in 1997. Not even 20 years ago. You fucking fail at history too.
D'ailleurs, monsieur a un ami noir, et même un ami arien. Monsieur est mieux que tout ça. D'ailleurs, tout ça, ça ne sert à rien.
But do you know, mate, what really gets me, what really makes me get going? Stupidity. People like you. Absolute idiot. But it doesn't make me uncomfortable. I don't want to talk. It doesn't make me not want to talk about it. It makes me want to grab you by the goddamn hair, drag you into the sunlight, and watch you burn like the vampire you are!
Look at me, I'm Mr. Stuttering Edgelord.
The stuff you're talking about is horseshit. You have no citation. You have no evidence. The citation you get is both biased and nothing to do with what you're on about. You're just being an asshole and a racist for no goddamn motherfucking reason. You absolute fruitcake.
So in our time together, our unfortunate time together, you have used a slur for race and sexuality. How are you honestly better? Tell me that. How are you honestly better if you're going to resort to such dumb insults?
Alright,
you guys, so that's my comeback video. I hope you like it. I make a video every Monday.
This nigga dumb.
So, anyway, yeah. This is about as much as I can take at this stupid piece of shit.
So that's how you're gonna end, by playing a stupid insult from Vine and just cutting him off? Awesome. A+ work here, people. Honestly, I'm not gonna play the rest of his video. It's just an outro. There's no need. So at a total of 26 minutes and 59 seconds, we finished this two-parter mess. And oh my god, I'm so glad we're done. So I want to use my outro to talk to both of these people in mind. First to Dazzy, because like I said, I don't agree with what he says. Look outside your little myopic box about racism. Racism is not something whites only participate in. This is something that all races can be guilty of, and it's the fault of the individual person, not the race as a whole. Your solution does not work. It only fosters that behavior. You're contributing to the problem. If you want racism to stop, do not hold a race accountable. Hold those specific people that are guilty accountable. If you blame a whole race, you alienate people and thus make racism linger longer than it should. You're part of the problem. You're not part of the solution. As for TheBlackSerpentBeta, you're fucking stupid. I'm not going to sum up why because I just spent the entirety of my commentary doing so. Please review that to understand why you're stupid. And with that, that's all I have to say on the matter. So until next time, this has been MrSirRaven saying bless and chop chop chop.